Hello, hello. Happy Thursday to you. This is a day that I don't normally go live, but this is a special day because this is a day when I go beyond my fear. That's right. Even I have fears and I'm overcoming them right here live with you. Why am I doing such a crazy thing? Hello, Halina. I'm doing such a crazy thing because of Halina Goldstein. She is one of our beautiful Joy Keepers, founder of the Joy Keeper Network. She's also one of the Real Self-Love leaders as part of the Real Self-Love movement. And for those of you who haven't, if you're not already in our personal branding boot camp, I teach personal branding and communications and, all this sort of conscious, authentic speaker stuff. And Halina has had such an impact on me and in my life. Not only have I invited her to be one of the leaders in the Real Self-Love movement, but I read everything she puts out. And Halina posted recently this idea about sharing our vision. So if you've ever seen me on stage, I generally talk a lot about visions. What about you? Do you get visions? Do you get downloads? Do you hear voices? Do you have angels, or do you see things actually here? I'm curious to know, how do you get your messages? And then if you do get a divine message or some inspiration, some creative impulse, how do you bring it to the world? Well, I want to talk about the power of having a vision, speaking or sharing that vision, and how it gets manifest into the world. So I want to say hello to Wenda. Hello, Mona. Lovely to have you here. And thank you, Halina. I've had an impact on you. Awesome, awesome sauce. And I just spoke with the lovely Marike. Hello, she's up in Norway, but I am happy to be so connected to all of my my Dutch peeps. This is a lovely gift I got when I was in Alicante, Spain, from one of the authors in this new book series that I'm doing. So one of the cool things, what's up Trevor, what's up Naman, Om Shanti everyone, welcome to the party. I'm going to dig in because I only have a little bit of time. So here's the thing. I was talking to a few of the authors that are working with me in these group books. So if you haven't heard, I publish books with my company, Make Your Mark Global. And one of the things that we do in the books is we invite people to share a personal story, a true story about your life and how you've overcome a challenge. And it's meant to inspire and help people all around the world. And one of our Real Self-Love leaders, Gitte Winter Graugard, who is from Denmark, she was with me in London and with Halina and you, Trevor. We were in London doing our Speak from the Heart, this authentic speaker training that I lead. And when I invited Gitte Winter to stand on stage and to share what she was going to share, she said, wait a minute, as I was getting off stage, I introduced her and she said, wait a minute, come back up here. And she said, I have to present you with something. And I was starting to shake. And she presented me with a beautiful dream catcher. It's in the other room. I meant to bring it. And she said, Andrea, when I met you, I shared a vision, a dream, and you helped me manifest it. So by being in the book and doing some coaching work and helping her do media training, like she's been doing so many media interviews and she even went on TV and was leading meditation and things on the radio, like so much great stuff. And it's one of these things that I wanted us to talk about, because when you share a vision that you have, even if it's scary, even if it's crazy, and you share it with people who are supportive of you, and yes, I know what it feels like to share with people who are not supportive. We're not talking about the haters, the people that don't want to see you succeed. Sharing it with a tribe like this, where people want to see you grow and expand. When you do that, you can actually manifest easier and faster than you could ever imagine. Am I right? Am I right? Who out there knows that I'm right? I know you know. And Marika and I were just talking about that. Yes, this nice cup. This came from Caroline, who is one of the authors in this upcoming book that I'm doing. She's also from the Netherlands. And we also have the lovely Leslie van Oostenbrugge, also from Holland, who is going to be, she's actually publishing her own book. She was in Time to Rise, and now her book is coming out this year. And so the cool thing about all of this, the reason I'm saying all of this to you is this. Something happens when you share a vision out loud. It also happens when you put it into writing. So I've shared with people that I carry around, depending on wherever I go, I have these journals with me. And I write in my journal, usually I unload anything that's creative and bubbling in my head. I try to get it down. I also write anything I'm grateful for. So if I'm really feeling full of gratitude at the end of a day or end of a week, if I'm feeling whatever, I write it down. And sometimes, being a little bit of a crazy visionary, I get downloads and visions of things that are like so big and sometimes so mind-blowing that I'm like, I can't tell anybody. I just got to write it down. And so I've been doing that. And I happen to be feeling a little off this week or over the weekend. And I opened up my journal thinking I would write, but the page I opened to was from last year. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember writing that. And yet what I wrote has come to pass. Now, some of you have already heard some of the vision. You've heard this, so, hold space for me, as we say in our woo-woo community. Hold space. Because here's the thing. I would previously not share my visions because they were, one, huge, crazy visions that some people might think, girl, how are you going to do that? And two, sometimes I didn't even know how I was going to do that. So I wouldn't want to share it with people for them to just poke holes in my idea. And sometimes the visions that I get from the divine, I think, why me? Why did you choose me for that craziness? Thank you so much for holding space, Halina. So I did share this. What happens to me is when I'm around people who know me and I feel good and safe and comfortable in our vibe and our energy, it's very easy for me to share. I just get in the flow and I can't even stop myself if I wanted to. And that happened last year. I actually was with, what is her name? Oh my gosh. Harrison. It's going to come to me. Last name is Harrison, out of Australia. Or is it New Zealand? She's going to kill me when she sees this. Anyway, she was interviewing me and we were in such flow that I just started to share the real vision. And so many of you know that I believe in meditation. Last year, I was on a webinar with our beautiful Nick Haynes from the 5 Institute in London. And he was explaining Chinese astrology and based on the Chinese New Year and the system that last year was about. Last year was the year of the fire rooster. And he was explaining that the rooster, if you really see a rooster, it's like they're pecking. They're very focused on getting that grain, focused on one thing. And he said, you need to be focused on one thing. And I was like, I had just published the Orgasm Prescription for Women. I was getting all these press inquiries. I was still doing personal branding one-on-one for my VIP clients. And I felt very torn. So I went into meditation with the aid of something called the Pandora Star. So it's this LED flashing light technology, puts you into a trance. And I went in with the intention to ask my guides, my guidance system, for clarity. What do I need to be focused on? And I could feel the presence of my guide right here. Like I could feel this presence. And it was very quiet. I was just sort of getting this telepathic download. And then this vision came. The vision was of me standing on some rocks, big, huge boulders. And I had my arms outstretched. And there were thousands of people there. and I was just giving energy. And I asked my guide, like, what are you showing me? And the message that came was, you are activating these light workers, these healers, these mentors, these coaches. They are going to be sharing their messages across the world. You are activating them. And at first I'm like, what? That wasn't what I was looking at when I was looking at the two visions that I was bringing into this. But I had surrendered. And surrender is a big part of manifesting. We can come in with our own idea, and if we get too locked and fixed on how it's got to look and it's got to be by this time, it won't work as well as when you surrender and you allow the creativity to flow and the divine to flow, and then all of these synchronicities. So I was talking with Karen, I don't know how she pronounces her last name, Ike. She's from Great Britain, and she's also going to be in this new book that we're talking about. And I told her the vision. She had heard the vision. Yes, Christiana, I am an activator. And that is what I manifest. Absolutely. And yes, Kimberly, it's about flow. And so I was talking to Karen, and she heard me say this. And she said, Andrea, I can already feel it. She could already feel the flow of energy lighting her up and activating her to step into the bold vision she had. And it was like, ooh, okay, now it's real. And so that's why I'm finally being bold enough to share it with you. Because as I said, when Helena said, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we shared within the group what our bold vision is? So after coming out of this vision and seeing that I was activating these light workers, I got more information, and it was like, you're going to be elevating the visibility and the prestige and the profiles of these light workers so that their messages and their work can be seen by more people around the world. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I have a branding agency, a publishing agency. I teach people marketing. And I thought, well, what else is happening? And it's like the activation is helping these light workers also tune in and up-level their strengths and their talents like superpowers. And I'm like, okay, I love that as well. And then it really became clear to me. Now, I didn't tell anyone this right away, but coming into that vision, I said yes. I said yes to the divine. And thank you, Naman. You say it's not scary. Well, it can be scary, I think, for some of us as we're just, getting confident enough to share with people. But what started happening was I didn't share it with anyone, but all of a sudden, all these opportunities were showing up, and it seemed like coincidence or synchronicity, or as some of us say, synchro destiny. So I was called and given the opportunity to speak at Expert Empires, which was a huge audience with, Gary Vee and Nick James and Ryan Dice. And so all of the things that started falling into place, like meeting one of our other Real Self-Love leaders, Yvette Taylor. She was in the audience. Actually, she wasn't even in the audience. She was walking in behind me as they were introducing me at Expert Empires. And we were destined to meet. There's so much I could talk about all of this. Oh my gosh, the vision, the manifestation, all of it. But the reason I'm being bold enough to share it is because when you see what I'm up to, it may seem a little weird and crazy. And when you see that I'm inviting people onto my platform, many people have asked me, why are you doing that? Why are you being so generous? What's up? What? Are you selling their stuff? No. Sometimes we do joint ventures, but I'm not doing joint ventures with any of the people that I've told you about. This was the mission I was given. And I said yes, because it's part of my soul's calling. And as Marika and I were just talking about, I am really touched by others' suffering. Now, being an empath, being able to feel other people's suffering was very painful for me for most of my life. As I learned other techniques, and especially certain Buddhist practices, I was able to understand that when I feel that energy or that pain or grief or suffering, I can transmute it into light and healing. And so I've been a little more comfortable, but I'm so touched by the suffering of others. I want to eliminate the suffering. I want to eliminate the suffering of all sentient beings on this planet. And is that crazy to say out loud? A big lofty goal like that? Yes. And I just did. So that's why I do what I do. And what's beautiful is that now that I've been able to affirm it and say it out loud, and I'm attracting all of these partners and all of these people who want to do the same thing, then it's like Wonder Twin powers, activate. We're able to join forces. And in record time, we're seeing such breakthroughs and transformations in our own lives as light workers, but also in the lives of people that we touch. And this is something else that Helena shared. And let me stop and I'll answer questions if there are. So you said you have felt me activating in every interaction, Helena, and it feels so right. I'm glad you're saying yes and that I'm such a gift. Thank you. And you know I consider you a gift too, my dear friend. And yes, Christiana says this is exactly what you saw, helping people open the portal of their dream. Yes, that's right. You call it these portals, these different portals that we have, right? And Kimberly, you are the queen of portals, aren't you? And it only takes a shift in our perception. Absolutely. And so this is why I want to share these messages. Because if you have been like me, hiding or denying these gifts and these talents, when we can boldly share just with a tribe of people that we feel safe with. What's up, Vilkas? Welcome to the party. When we can open up and share, even if it's just with one person, we open a portal for this energy to flow. So whether you're coming onto a radio show or a podcast, or you're getting on stage, or you're publishing a book, you have the power to affect people with your intention. It's like what you said to me, Helena, when we were in London. It's like, what if we could step on stage and not, without even saying a word, we could cause transformation. We could create joy. We could raise the vibration of people. We could eliminate suffering. We could heal. Well, all of that is actually possible. And all of that is what I'm into. It's what I care about. And Fiona says, that's why this is real and why you want to join this energy field. Yes, it benefits lots of people. And so I mentioned that one of the things that we can do by gaining this agreement, right? Like we have this agreement between us, this intention that we have inside of us. We share it with another person through speaking it, or I shared it in my journal just through writing it. We set the intention for what is possible. So if it's possible for us to heal the suffering on our planet just with our intention and our presence alone, and then think about it, if you open your mouth and start talking or sharing from your heart and soul, imagine how that gets amplified. And so that's really what this is all about. And I mentioned yesterday in a live is that by just being present with an intention to transform, as you put it, Marika, we can cause that transformation. And so yesterday I mentioned that I would like to invite anyone who would like to join us in a circle of 8. I was inspired by the lovely Lynn McTaggart and her book, The Power of 8 and the Bond and the Intention Experiment. You know, she's been doing all of these beautiful peace experiments and other intention experiments where a group of people come together with one focused intention. And at a specific time, whether through meditation or breathing, you really create that intention for creating peace or creating love or joy or healing. And as a group, we're seeing that those intentions are actually made manifest. So we get emails back. I'm in Lynn McTaggart's circle. So I get the emails back of people who've been prayed for or intended for who had like cancer or any number of neurologic diseases. And they report back that they feel better, that their lives are getting better. But the other key to that is that we, the people who are sending out this positive intention, we get this boomerang return of positive energy for us as well. And so if this is of interest to you, you're invited to join me and Trevor and Marika, who've already said yes. I know several of you would probably say yes, but I don't want to say your name until you make it official. We will get together. You don't have to physically be anywhere. We don't even have to do it on Zoom. We just simply agree at a time. And each week we will have a particular intention. It could be for someone in this community, or it could be someone in your family. Eventually we may take outside nominations for people that want this. So thank you, Fiona, for saying yes. Welcome. And Christiana, thank you as well. It's very good. I'm so excited. And Naman, you're in. Mona says she's in. Boom. So we're probably going to have 2 groups of 8 at least after just this broadcast alone. So that's what we'll do. We will start to send out these intentions and these visions. And I don't want you to hold back from the big, scary vision. Like, do you think it was, a little scary for me to tell you I had this vision of me standing on rocks, activating light workers? Like, what? That sounds great, right? But you might just see me doing just that, trying to plan a trip over to Sedona coming up. Those are kind of reddish, beautiful rocks. Who knows? Anyway, I love it. We have Kimberly who's in, and Malene, you're also in. Yes. So I want you to also be bold and share your personal visions. I love that you have already been sharing them, that you also have this vision of being a presence of light and love in this world to help others heal or to help yourself step beyond fear and step into a bold vision of yourself. I will share shortly a link to one of my vision meditations. I always do these live. Many of you have been there for me to do them live, where we just visualize yourself a few years in the future or a year in the future, really living and being and expressing your authentic self in a bold way. And by doing these sort of vision exercises, visualization is a beautiful way to accelerate the manifestation process. It also helps you just start to embody it. And if you're doing it and you find that there's something blocking you, well, then you'll find that when we start doing the master classes as part of the Real Self-Love movement, we will identify what blocks you. I was having blocks about receiving. If you can't receive, you can't be putting out these wishes to the universe and then you're like, oh, it comes and I'm not ready to receive. That's my own admission. But if you will join us for the Real Self-Love movement, you will find that there's a lot of support in each of these masterclasses to identify, are there thoughts, are there beliefs, are there memories from the past, traumatic experiences that are blocking you from being able to fully step into that vision and realize that vision. So we're going to help you eliminate those, but be bold at least now. Do these meditations and get into the state where you're willing to put words to what that vision is, and then you can start to feel it in the body. So Marika, I love this. You say you see yourself talking to politicians, releasing their suffering so that they can be leaders from the heart instead of from fear. Love, love, love that. That is awesome. And Naman, you say you want to join us. I am so excited. Oh, and you say, okay, you're on this time or earlier because it's 11 p.m. in India. Okay. So yeah, we're going to have to work out time zones depending on where everyone is from, because generally we have at least 8 countries on average that are tuned in to some of the master classes and live things that we do. So thank you for letting me know that, Naman. We will make sure that we accommodate. We've got to accommodate India. We've got to accommodate our folks in Australia as well. But I just thank you all for being here to support me as I shared out loud my vision. So it really became clear to me that by verbalizing it, it was already coming to pass. You know, I started to get my left brain engaged in being a little more literal, and it was the number was another scary part. Okay, so this is the last piece. The other scary part was seeing that I would reach 100 million people in the next 10 years. that was pretty creepy. I'm like, how on earth am I going to reach 100 million people? But when you think of it, if we bring in 111 light workers every year for the next 10 years, and we get them activated so that they're reaching millions of people, well, that's how I'm going to get to my 100 million. So I am inspired to bring on more light workers who are ready to share their mission and their message on stages, in books, on radio, on TV, in workshops and retreats. And I will gladly support you in getting your message out there so that we can cause this ripple of transformation all around the world. And so we have Aziz from Morocco. I'm hoping to be in Morocco. When is that? March of 2019 with the beautiful Khen Lizra of Sabrosura. So we are going to do lots of good things. Oh, thank you for that, Mona. We will make it ripples of change. Yes, 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 and yes. Thank you so much, Helena, for inspiring me to share my vision boldly, openly. I feel better now that I've done that. And thank you, Kimberly, for your beingness. Hoping to make it out to Ojai, but it's, it's all these things in the calendar. So, my friends, I love all of you. I'm sending you tons of love. If you are curious about these book projects that I've talked about, please know there are 2 books that we're publishing, these group books. One is Life After Trauma. And this book is for anyone who's experienced trauma in the area of love, sex, or relationships. If you're willing to share a story, or you know someone, or even a therapist who helps people get beyond that sort of trauma, this book will be coming out in November. And the other book is about magic and miracles. You've probably heard me say that miracles are all around us. The Magic and Miracles book is aimed for people to share a personal story of magic, of miracles, of manifesting something that has helped you really know that there's more to life than our flesh and blood. We have helpers, we have God or the divine, whatever you want to call it. This book is meant to inspire anyone who reads it by reading your personal story. So I will put in the links so that you can get information on how to take part in these books. These are author-funded books, and most everybody knows that by being a part of this, we package it such that you're getting about $10,000 worth of support. We really want you to have everything you need. If you were trying to use this as part of your business, or you wanted to make sure that the work you put in gets out to the masses, this is how you do that. So I will share that with you here. First, the book on magic and miracles. If you know anyone, please share this video with anyone who needs to believe in stepping into your power so that we can share all of this with the world. And yay, Kimberly says she's signing up on Friday. Boom. I'm loving it because the stories that I've heard, and especially yours, Kimberly, I've heard so many amazing stories about miracles that I'm like, oh my heavens. It's deep. It's deep, y'all. When you think about some of these people who've experienced literally what we would call a spontaneous connection to oneness and bliss, it's like big in my opinion. So I'm excited about this book. I'm excited to bring it to the world. And yes, it is going to be like boom shakalaka. So my friends, I am sending you much, much, much love and support on your journey. I look forward to you sharing your vision for your life, for your future, for our planet, and how you are going to boldly step up and step into it. If you would like to join us at the Real Self-Love Journey, where you can download the Real Self-Love Manifesto and get insight and access to our masterclasses with so many of these beautiful people who are here now, you can join us at realself.love. Totally free from my heart to yours. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of the day and rest of the day. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week. I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Much love. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.